Okay, this is Natalie, and let's see what we got here. Not sure why this is looking funny at the waist. Let's check that out first. Looking real kind of twisted there. Um, so I think that's going to be just manually adjusting these. Oh yeah, there's some situation here where first of all let's take out this guy. We'll have to fix that later. I just shift right mouse click delete edge, and this one. You know what? Let's take this whole row out. Okay, now we should definitely have one down the center here. Control Shift X, and um, can I snap that to the center? Is that centered? Sure looks it. Okay. So now let's see if we're a matching number of edges. Sometimes I like to do display, heads up display polygons. For that, where is poly count? Right here. So 20 and 22. So there's two extra here. So your choices are to either add to the legs or remove from the no, I'm sorry, remove from the legs or add to the top half of the body. So just kind of seeing if there's any excess detail anywhere on the legs, and I'm not really seeing it. I would also probably maybe work on this shape a little bit. I might start by flattening this out just as a starting point, and then maybe I'll turn on symmetry, W, and then marquee menu and symmetry, and then move these forwards, and then move these back, I think. Okay, well, you can put more time into it than that. Similarly here, I think I'm gonna let's see if soft select is gonna. No, that's gonna grab that other stuff. So turn that off. B for soft select. Kind of round this out a little bit. Oops. Just gonna deselect from the edge, pull out, deselect, pull out. Okay. Better. Still could use some more work, I think, but okay. So probably then I will add to the body somewhere, and I'm trying to think where I might end up needing some extra detail, but probably nowhere. So I'll just do Control Shift X, and let's make sure got this selected. Okay. Control Shift X, and just put that here. Let's say. And let's see what we're up to now. So it should be 22, yes, and 22. Good. And then just even some of these out. So shift right mouse click, slide edge. Where is my edge? There we go. And just move those out a bit. And something like that. So it's a little more evenly spread. Good. Now, this one and that one, shift right mouse click, and bridge. Okay, it still looks a little weird, but let's select this, and that, and let's do from the surfaces menu, let's do, where's my sculpt thing? Isn't it under surfaces? Sculpt geometry tool, I like this one. And I've got it on smooth, and let me just flood. No? Oh, I have to change it to control. If I do control, jeez, control, hey, control right mouse click, it's not working. Okay. Select, I want to convert selection. Oh, two vertices, alright, Command F9. And now let's go back to that sculpt geometry and flood, 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 flood. And I can go back and give it more shape again, but that way, you know, it's starting out kind of smooth, you know, and then you can go back in and give it more shape, like he's got no butt now, for example, so I might, you know, grab some points here and turn on soft select, make that a bit bigger, maybe pull that out. Whoa! What? Oh, I'm on edge slide for some reason. W, left mouse, transform constraints off. Okay, you know, something like that. More? I don't know. Okay, so that's fixed. No, I put the butt on his front. That's so funny. Okay, sorry. Um, just holding down B to increase the size of that soft select. Why does it keep? I don't know why it's turning on the that transform constraint edge slide. Okay. Anyway, you know, you can give it some more shape than that. I could give it some more time, but you get the basic idea. Okay. So this, I don't know what happened here. This is not how we did it in the lesson. So first I'm going to do mesh separate. What? Only has one piece? But clearly... I don't know. That's really weird. So I'm just going to shift the greater than symbol, which is like shift period, and then I will separate this out. Separate mesh. Oh no, that's not going to work. I have to do. It's not separate. It's detach, right? Nope. What is it? Oh, jeez. Extract. Sorry. Yeah. There we go. Sorry about that. Okay, so now let's get some space in there. I'm going to center the pivot. Kind of, yeah, I mean, why, how that could say that's all one surface, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and delete these guys off. Okay, and so this is all right in the video, how to do this armhole thing. I think you really need to just watch that again, but I'll go ahead and oh, I just want to isolate selected. What is it? There we go. So there's this extruded edge in here. I don't know why. Gonna delete that. Alright, and now we've got a hole, but I don't think it's quite big enough. This is how many? So that's 6. I think we wanted at least 9, right? For this guy? Not just 6. How many is this? That's 12. Yeah, it's like double to make those match. So, I mean, since you've already shaped the arm, I'll just quickly Control Shift X, add these in here one at a time. Whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Hold down the Control and Shift, and just in the center of each of these, just to make it. It's a mistake. Control and Shift. All right. Well, and then now that needs to be shaped better. But really, I might just do it over again with a cylinder if I were you. But so I'm going to grab this thing and use circularize for that. And then let's just twist that around, get it straight again. And then I'm going to grab this hole here and circularize that. And twist that around to get that adjusted like so. Maybe like that, maybe a little, whoops. Oh, it's doing that transform constraint again. I don't know why I'm turning that off. I just held R. And then maybe, well, wait, that's 12, really? It doesn't look like 12. Oh, it's 12 because I had mirroring on. Oh, it was 6. Oh, jeez. Alright. Just undoing. Okay. Sorry. Alright, so circularize this. And line that up. And now, maybe I might even take out this row and then just put it back in once they're connected. Now I should be able to take this edge. Oh, first I have to combine the two. Combine this and this. Mesh, combine. And then take this edge and that edge and shift right mouse click bridge. Yay! And then T, let's get, hey, where's my, where's my, I don't know. There it is. I just clicked on that thing and then did T. I just wanted to add some divisions is all. So you have more to work with. And now this is like, you know, a sound surface. So you can go back in and start, you know, just shaping this shoulder connection so that it's working better, you know, spreading some of these things out and, you know, adjusting the position of this stuff, etc., etc. You know, just really taking the time to give this a nice shape. I'm not going to do too much here right now. So, but you get the idea that it's one continuous instead of just cramming an arm in there like you had before. You can see how that's much better. So that needs to be fixed, and then after you've done that, you will have to remirror the character again. So, you know, you select half of it, and oh, sorry, I have to turn off symmetry. Should have had that off already. Select half of that, delete it. Just double check this. Yep, see, that's what you got to double check, stuff like that. You know, and make sure this is still at the center line. So I'm just going to select this edge here that goes around that gap. And let's look at the front view and just check on that. Looks good. Okay. Select this whole thing. Shift right mouse click, mirror options, everything should be good. From mirror across the x-axis, mirror axis, x mirror direction from the positive to the negative. So let's change that to negative, apply, and then we've just got to change this merge threshold to like 0.01 to get rid of that problem you saw on the neck. Ooh, wait a minute. Thought I saw some issue. Yeah, okay. Undo, 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 undo. Alright, so I thought everything was along the center line, but it's not. So I'm going to convert that selection to vertices. Select, convert selection to vertices, and get rid of these extra ones along the top that I don't. Oops. that I don't need. Okay, and make sure I'm in move mode, and make sure this is set to absolute, and put 0 in the X direction. Well, I sure didn't see anything move, but maybe it did a little bit. Okay, let's try the mirror again. Shift right mouse click. Where's my mirror? Oh, I think I still have vertex selected. Shift right mouse click, mirror, 0.01. No, it's still doing that. Why? What is it about this vertex? Oh yeah, that is not centered. I was sure this should have centered it. What? Oh, absolute. Well, I don't know. I'll just click on this and hold down the X key and then snap that to the center. I don't know why that's happening. And then same here. Whoops. Make sure I just have this axis selected. There we go. Okay, I don't know. Usually that other thing works. Okay. And then 0.01 here. Okay. All right. So now that's how you mirror. And what I really should be doing is selecting all these at once. And then make sure that one's selected, and then hold down X and middle mouse drag. Just check that. Oops. Oh, see, some of those aren't. Just gonna check these one at a time here, because I don't know why I'm having such a hard time making sure those are centered. All right. All right. So now we're solid. Okay. So that's much better. And you're gonna have to, do a similar thing for the feet. So, oh wait, these aren't even. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have to first. You're gonna have to take this guy and do a series of extrude edge and kind of rotating it each time. Whoops, let's turn off discrete rotate, hold down E, turn that off. Why is that rotating backwards on me? Because that's at an angle. Alright. Okay, and then I'll extrude it again. And rotate that. What? I don't know why that's being funny. And so on and so forth, and then get that matched up to the foot, and then hook that up in the same way that I did, and you may have to again match the number of loops in here. So I would just, this is already kind of a long video, so I think just follow basically the same kind of workflow for those shoulders as you do for those feet, and for the wrists. So give it a shot. I'll save this in case you want it. I'm just gonna call this shoulder, and but you really need to connect those up. But I think the rest of it's looking pretty good. I think you've done a pretty nice job with these. I'm a little bit scared to see what, oh, so though you just stuck spheres in there, that's really no way to do this. You know, what you should be doing, I'm just going to give you sort of a little example here, is, you know, putting some extra detail on here, like this, maybe ones at the end that are a little closer, and then, you know, take an edge like this, and I'll do B for soft select, and make that smaller, and then scale this up, you know, whoops, let me turn off my transform constraint there, you know, more like that. You know, you can go out a little bit too if you want, but you know, you can make that bigger or whatever. But I think that's a much, you know, cleaner kind of surface thing. Right now it's not as spherical as yours, but it's just a question of you know, how many of those edges you make and doing it. So I don't like how you built that. That's not a proper surface. So yeah, but keep going. It's good progress. Next up is Shelley Livingston, and this is looking good. There seems to be some issues. I'm gonna, I can see these sort of artifacts happening here, which usually means there's a surface, one right on top of the other. So sometimes I'll like select a face and I can see that there's something kind of funny going on there. Um, Sometimes that can be fixed with mesh cleanup, and make sure we've checked lamina faces, non-manifold geometry, faces with zero geometry area. Okay, it looks like it fixed that. Um, so typically, I think that's the kind of thing that happens. Yeah, that looks more normal. When you do an extrude, but then you don't move the new resulting surfaces. Similarly, there's something going on with the hand. And again, let's try this again. Okay, so that seems to have helped, but there's something going on with these faces still. But I think it might be all right. Um, I'm just going to try selecting. I'm just clicking on one side of each row and then double clicking on the other, you know, holding down shift the whole time. Let's see what happens if we do mesh display. Where is reverse? Normal's reverse. Yeah. Okay, that fixed that. All right, so those two steps I think should fix your hand, but I think you need to do some modeling work. It looks very thin, very flat. I need to really flesh out this palm and make the fingers thicker and that kind of stuff. It's very pinched around this thumb area, so get that thicker, some modeling work. Yeah, the rest of the shapes are looking pretty good. I think yeah, you got those holding edges in there and stuff. Seems like there's maybe extra edge in the middle here, or maybe that could be spread out a little bit. Maybe another holding edge along the bottom here. If you look at that heel, like maybe Control Shift X, right? And I think that looks a little better. Pair it with its neighbor and turn off wireframe unshading. You know, a little better. So, but yeah, overall, I think you're doing got that same something like that's going on in the shoe. So let's see if that's going to fix it. Maybe not in this case. It doesn't seem to have fixed. Trying it like a few times to see if it makes. Okay, so something funny is going on here. Oops. For some reason, just turning on transform constraint. Yeah, there's something really a little bit broken about this shoe. So after trying the mesh cleanup, I'm going to isolate this object. Oh, wrong button. This one. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete. Oh yeah, you can see right here there's stuff doubled up. So I'm just selecting around there and hitting delete. And then I will grab that edge again around the top and then shift right mouse click extrude edge, and click here, and then push that down, and that looks clean now. So then you can, maybe add a division or two, and then go in and shape that on the inside a little bit. And so that's cleaned up. Okay, so a few little cleanup things, but overall I think it's looking good. I think the main what's going on here now? Mm-hmm. That's just a simple case of this, I think might want to make sure mirror is on for the symmetry. Not mirror, symmetry. Make sure that's tucked in side, and that fix both sides. Okay. Yeah, so I think the main shaping thing, there's some model cleanup stuff to do, but the main shaping thing is to get those hands thicker and have more of a palm. But good work so far. Next up is Nathan, and yeah, at first glance, this looks just great. I think make sure these surfaces aren't combined. I'm going to do mesh separate, so they're individual surfaces. I think for stuff like this, the thing to pay attention to is as closely as possible that you have. I'm going to put another edge in. Let's do shading wireframe unshaded. I was starting to say as close as possible anything on top of another surface that the topology matches, and like has like at a minimum the sort of same edges. So see how I'll put this edge here, which kind of matches that one, and then I'll probably take this one and slide edge like that. And I think then when you rig it, if the topology kind of flows along the same lines, it'll bend better. And so yeah, these will be a little tricky to be honest, but oh wow, you did the hula belts. Okay. So yeah, you might want to do some bevels on here. And again, in this case, I think this case you actually have done a pretty good job of the topology matching. If you see, within reason, definitely you'll need at least one Control Shift X, at least one down the middle here, just to, on both of these, on all your belts really. And what's going on? Is that just a, oh, it looks, I think maybe that's like interpenetrating just a little bit, so you might want to go a little bigger on this. One good trick for that is if I select all the vertices of this and then go to the Move Tool options by double-clicking the Move Tool. Actually, there's an easier way to do it. If I hold down W and then click and then go to Axis, Normal, and then pull on this N, see how I can just make it like fatter, like it just everything goes thicker a little bit, and that's a way to help with if something on top of something else is interpenetrating like it was, and I can reset the tool when I'm done. I'll put it back to normal. Yeah, gloves looking good. Yeah, again, I would separate these two sides. I think that may be your mirror options were set so that combine with the original. So if you're mirroring something like a hand or a foot, you'll want to turn that off. And I'm guessing the reason it was combined for both the feet and the hands is because you had that turned on. But when you're mirroring like something that has two sides to it, then you do want that on. So it just depends. If it's like a separate thing, like a hand off, you don't want it merged. But if it's a single object, you do. Well, this is great. You're doing a great job. This is really excellent work. Okay, next up is Julia, and yeah, this is looking good so far. Yeah, nice all around. The hands look, maybe they're a bit kind of long oval shape. I think maybe if you just scale the whole thing up that way, you know, even this looks a little kind of distorted in the way it was scaled. Um, what I'm guessing is you kind of just did some of that at one point. I think you'll get that more normal. And then I think if you want to make it thicker at this point, well, let's start with this thumb, because what I might do, I'm going to select this tip and I'll do the greater than symbol, which is shift period, and grow, 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 grow. And like that. And then first I might, if I hold down D and make sure I'm in the scale tool, I can kind of rotate this so it's along there, and then kind of scale it out that way a little bit to try and that doesn't mess anything up. I think this area needs to be cleaned up a bit too. And then, ooh, there's something went wrong here. I think I ended up with too many edges. I think I show how to terminate these edges. Don't I? We'll take a look at that. So anyways, the point was, instead of kind of scaling it taller, what I would try to do is proportionally make it bigger. If you wanted it thicker at this point, which you can select some or all of the vertices, hold down W, left mouse click, axis, normal, and then kind of pull on this N here, and everything just gets thicker, but kind of more proportionally. I think you could shape the wrist more, make it a little rounder. Terminate some of these edge loops, which goes like this. If I can, I'm going to go into edge. And oh, by the way, you should reset. Double click on your move tool and reset if you do the normal thing that I just showed. So I'm going to do a target weld and oops, just hit 1 there. So kind of, wait, why is that not working? Oh, I think because I have symmetry on. Okay, sorry. Just turn that off. So if we, come on, if we weld these two together, for example, then I can take this shift right mouse click, delete edge, and what you end up with is, you know, see, this is a quad now. That's a four-sided face. And we can get rid of this, shift right mouse click, delete edge for the rest of the things. I do that wrong? Or do we have to merge? I think I did that wrong. Let's kind of back up, sorry. Okay, sorry. So yeah, let's try that again. Let's do it here. So target weld here and here, and then we should be able to delete these edges. So just double click, shift right mouse click, delete edge. Make sure you delete it that way. And then here, if I delete this one, shift right mouse click, delete edge, that remains a four-sided face. Looks like I have to delete this as well. Oops. Okay, let me try that again. Target weld. I'll do 2 down here. I can delete this one And this one, just double clicking, shift right mouse click, delete edge. And then if I just delete this one, shift right mouse click, delete edge, this becomes a four-sided face right here. Everything else is four-sided, and you have less loops. And so you can do that for sort of each of the fingers and kind of reduce the topology that's hitting the wrist, and on both sides, because you can see you have way too many things. So that's how you can terminate the some edge loops on the hand. What else? Some concern about what's happening back here. It looks like we've got these, that's actually the perfect example of non-manifold geometry here with these things coming out. So let's see if mesh cleanup will fix that. Mesh cleanup, I've got non-lamina faces, non-manifold geometry, faces with zero geometry area. Nope. Okay, so not sure why that didn't clean it up, but sometimes it doesn't. So let's go in here and, oh boy, yeah, you'll have to manually go through and clean up these faces, which is no fun. What's this weird face here? Let's make sure this is, yeah, something's gone a little wrong here. It's probably one of those where you at some point extruded but didn't. So what I think I would do, this is going to be easier, is delete, let's just get rid of all that and make a new neck. Yeah, see, there's a little problem here around this. There's all this weird geometry here. Just clicking on one, shift double clicking on the next one to try and get the whole loop there and see if we can't get rid of all this funny stuff. Okay, so now it looks like we're back to normal, and then let's just make the neck again. Shift right mouse click, extrude edge, and click this, and then pull it up, and I think you had scaled it in a bit more, and then I think you extruded it up straight again, something like that, and then you can extrude edge, scale it in, and then one more time and pull it down. So something like that, and then now this looks all clean, and you can add some holding edges and stuff in there if you need them. So yeah, clean up that. Figure out how you're going to resolve this. Maybe get the shirt longer and pull it over the top of the pants. Oh yeah, and this, I'm wondering if this happened because of the merge threshold on when you mirrored it. I always change that to 0.01. It's easy to fix this. Let's hold down W, symmetry, Control Shift X for the Control Shift X for the multi-cut tool, and I'll click here and there, enter, and then select this and this, shift right mouse click, delete edge, and that gets that back to, whoops, these guys too. Okay, and that gets that back to normal. Yeah, but as far as the actual shapes of everything, I think it's looking really good. I think there's just some little cleanup things to do, and kind of resolving this area. So very good work. Next up is Candace, and yeah, it's coming along. Let's start with, I'm just going to isolate this. And there's some funny looking geometry stuff here. See these little gaps in here? It looks like the mirror wasn't clean, so let's redo that just to kind of go over that, because there's a little trick you got to make sure is done correctly. So let's delete half of this. Whoops. I'm going to make sure symmetry is turned off. I just held down W to do that in the left mouse. So delete half of that, and Oh, there's this like inside stuff here. We don't want that. And while we're at it, what's going on here? There's just a little tangled up, it would seem. Okay, I think that could use a little bit more shaping around the neck, but let's leave that for the moment. So let's check in the front view, get our vertices. Let's make sure we have only and exactly that center line selected. That looks good. And I was having trouble with this earlier. I should be able to go into move mode. You know, you can hide and show this here. Change this to absolute. Change that to 0 and hit enter. Yeah, and see I don't know if you saw they moved just a tiny bit. And now let's take a very close look here, make sure the grid's turned on, and make sure they're all just exactly along that center line, and they sure look like it. So now I'm going to do shift right mouse click, mirror, just check my options, make sure combine with original, merge border vertices, threshold, let's do this really low one to begin with, and there, now you should see that we don't have those little gaps we saw a minute ago. Now something went wrong here when you connected the arms. We've got these many-sided faces. As you can see, this is, oh, I don't like that. Okay, something went real wrong here. So what I would do is probably at this point take these out and delete that, and let's try this again. So if I go display, heads up display, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Polygon, and I grab the edges of this is 12 and this is 8. So I'll go ahead and delete half of this off again. Whoops. Front view, right mouse click face, let's delete this half again, and might want to circularize this and twist. Whoops. And let's rotate that. Maybe rotate it this way too. Okay, so we got that shape lined up, and then we need, what did we say? We needed 2 more edges, is that right? So, you know, look where there's a little less detail, like maybe I can shift right mouse click, slide edge, and move this one down a bit. And then maybe control shift X, add a loop here. And then, you know, you might want to shape that, whoops, a little bit, you know, just kind of pull this out some. And I think this needs more shape too, like this could be rounded more. In fact, maybe I'll try circularize on this bit as well. And let's twist that back so it's kind of straight, and that's going to be a little more lined up. And then, so what are we at now? We said this is 9 and this is 12. Oh, we need a few more. Wonder how we came up so short. So, yeah, maybe we'll need some detail. Control shift X, maybe here and there. And then, you know, I might consider shifting some of these around here and here. How does that look? Okay, 12 and 12. Yay, okay. So I might spend some time kind of adjusting the shape and topology of these first, but now that they match, shift right mouse click, bridge, and you'll get a proper connection in there. And then you have to go in and really shape this shoulder again. The hands are quite wrong, so I think, you know, rather than me try and demonstrate anything here, you need to really watch the videos again on the hands, because this is not how we do the hands. So take a look at those. Um, and yeah, this is coming along. I think just things look a little boxy, so look out for areas that look boxy, and just do some kind of moving some of the edges around. Like the bottom of these arms, see the arm shape is just a little boxy. Kind of round that out. You can do things like pulling this edge forward, or alternatively like pushing the other two back and try to round things out a little bit. And this is again looking kind of boxy. So look at this big flat edge. It's a big flat edge. You're really going to want to kind of pull each of these out one at a time. And I mean, honestly, might delete a few edges and try to do it with less geometry first, and then just add in as you need it. So if I took out, frankly, most of these, right shift right mouse click delete edge, and then kind of adjusted, for example, this one, and then I can add in the other ones as I need them. Control Shift X. Whoops. Control Shift X for this. Add a couple more, and then maybe scale those out a bit, and round them, and just kind of shape it more with fewer. I should probably have symmetry on right now, but so it's starting to get a little bit better shape to it. So get rid of that boxiness and do the same kind of thing in the front. And yeah, and just a similar thing here to kind of just round this out because it looks like very boxy. And this is looking a little problematic, the way you've done that. But I just think it needs to be carefully shaped to the body. I don't think, yeah, so this is just hanging way low and then it does a straight thing across. I think you need to really, it's just going to be one of those sort of getting in there probably point by point. And, what I might do is select all of these, move really most of them up. And hit B for soft select and hold down B and make that bigger so that moves some of this stuff with it. And then this one's the same mirroring thing with this one that I did before. I was just going to try to move this up. See, that's kind of bending that a little bit. So, but you really need to get in there and adjust the verts and really shape this and kind of take your time with it until it's more form-fitted to the body. I'm doing kind of a sloppy job of it, but I think you get the idea where you keep going, and then you might want to give the whole thing some thickness on the bottom here. You could take these edges, B for soft select, and extrude edge, and give that some thickness, kind of like so. But get the before you do that, get the overall shape right, because right now this is looking weird, and that should be more form-fitted. If you're going to have this piece in the middle, which frankly I think might just be more trouble than it's worth, maybe just I would actually lose this strip underneath there. I think that's just going to be a nuisance, and just work on that sort of leaf shape, which might be, it kind of brings up another point, which is maybe you want to break this up into like individual leaves, but it's fine to have as one big shape. I just think it needs better, you just need to make more time forming the shape. Yeah, then for this you're going to need to form an armhole here. So taking out some number of these things, something like that, and circularize that, and twist it back, and then let's show this, and then move it into position, and I'm going to use B for soft select just to kind of move some of that stuff up with it. So now that matches a little better, and then continue to shape it so it fits the arm. Oops, what am I doing? Hold on. Just Just going to move this whole thing back a bit. Anyway, you know, you got to put some more time into it. But yeah, you'll need that armhole. And then once you get that done, again, you can give this a little bit of thickness to it. But make sure that it's, you know, whoops, that it's fitting right to begin with, you know, and shape the shoulder a little bit more and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's looking pretty blocky and rough, and you need to fix your mirror things and make sure all the points are along the center line for this as well. And yeah, and then but keep going, keep shaping it, and yeah, redo the hands. Okay, this is K, and let's take a look. Overall, it's looking pretty good. There's a lot of these intersecting surfaces between these two objects, and that looks kind of problematic. Also, it got pretty dense pretty early. Is there a smooth in here somewhere? Wow, a lot of history. I don't see it. So, yeah, I think. Why is there? It's like there's a couple surfaces on top of each other, and I think I'm trying to understand. Wow, what's supposed to be going on here? So I'm guessing that we really just want this one. I don't know. It looks like we don't want that one. And this one doesn't have the shirt, the short sleeve shirt over the thing. So I'm guessing it's really just supposed to be this one? I don't know. So you'll have to let me know about that. And then there's something kind of crazy happening with these shirt sleeves. Has this been combined, mesh, separate? Yes, it has. Oh, okay. No? Try that again? No? Something's still kind of... Oh, wow. Then there's another one there on top of it. So there's something really odd happened here. I don't know what's going on. There's all these... Oh, yeah, look at that. And that has one on that side. Strange. Wow. Well, let's just look at this for the moment. I don't know how you did this sleeve thing, but that's kind of a mess. I might shift double click here and shift the greater than symbol. Weird. Just gonna try to delete that one. No? Yeah, there's a very strange... Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, it looks like you extruded right out of there, and that's not gonna work. So I think, yeah, you'll need to take a step back to sort of this stage of it. And I think maybe we had one of these. I'm going to reopen the file. Again, here's all those duplicates. I'm going to delete it. This one, that one. Yeah, okay. I would take a step back to this version before things got a little crazy. I think you're going to want to spread out these a little bit. And then you might need to adjust the shape, but those got really tight. We should probably have symmetry on here, otherwise you're going to have to mirror again, but that's not a big deal. And then this got a little weird in some spots. See this kind of stuff here, I'm not sure what happened there. So I might do this again from when you had kind of a sound. Oops, I'm in the wrong thing. I might take all this off, and we've got the clean opening here, and just do that again. Just pull this up, and I mean, you'll have to do all the shaping of it, obviously, but just to kind of make sure it's sort of a sound surface, I'm just rebuilding this shape here. And then if you want to do the thing where, for example, it comes down the middle, you could pull these guys down, you know, something like that. If you want to pull down further, maybe B for soft select, and hold down B and make that a bit smaller. And then, you know, it could even affect the stuff below, and, you know, maybe you have to add more detail to get the full shape you want, but it, you know, needs to be a clean surface. There was some weird stuff going on with the color there. That looks okay. So yeah, something, maybe just stick with this, or if you're going to build those short sleeves, you have to do that very differently. I think these look okay. I think that there's just something a little funny about the shape of those legs. So just the way they kind of blend in this way and bend back out that way, almost kind of, I don't know what the term is, like knock-kneed or something, where they're close to each other. I wouldn't, you know, the only, you've added this smooth here. I don't think that's necessary. You're just giving yourself a denser surface. I mean, unless you need those edges to kind of form the shape more. But you'll notice this looks exactly the same with less edges, so there was no reason to smooth at this point. And this thing looks like it's gonna just be a hassle. So let's see if I don't know exactly what that's supposed to be, but maybe that's something that could be painted on. Otherwise, you know, you're going to really want to get that to be skin tight. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. I might just lose that. And this is a bit, boy. Again, I think you've smoothed this. Here we go. And let's get that down. So that's definitely, wait. Yeah, let me just see. Does this change the shape if I go down to division 0? And it just gets rid of stuff, you know. So there's no reason to just smooth and to make things super dense. I think that, you know, this could have been more, you know, carefully shaped and rounded to begin with. There's some real problems on the bottom of the feet here, and it's so dense, and the geometry is a little crazy. I mean, it's yeah, that bottom. I don't know what happened there. Did that happen when I did the smooth thing, or no? Oh wow, that's what I did. There's some big hole there or something. I don't know. I might take another pass at these shoes and just try to do them again. Maybe try to follow along with the video a little more and do something like that. These could probably use, you know, actually a couple extra loops here, or maybe something to kind of hold the legs a little bit better. Maybe something near the bottom here. So that shape, and see how that one gets all pinched and weird at the bottom. That one holds the shape a little better. Okay. You could give this some thickness at the bottom if you want. B to turn off soft select. Shift extrude edge. Oops. Just hold down control. You know, and then if you want to pull it up a bit. And then it, you know, it just gives it some thickness at the bottom. It can be helpful. So yeah, I think a few things to clean up here. I think, you know, your overall shape of the body shape is actually pretty good, but I think there's just some areas to fix. Maybe look at how the wrists are meeting the arms and clean that area up. You probably have to make this opening wider. Everything got really dense somehow. I guess there's no. I mean, that's not too dense, the body part, but yeah. So yeah, a few things to fix, but overall you're moving forward pretty well. I feel like I would like to see you redo the shoes. Um, okay, next up is Anton, and yeah, this is looking really good. Um, some really nice shape to it, and so far the model's looking pretty clean. Um, Maybe a little more kind of meat to the palm of the hand. It looks a little concave, and I think you want to kind of have that come out a bit down there. But the modeling looks clean. The topology looks good. Um, these are might yeah make sure those are flush with the surface. Why don't they have get those like so? And you might want to put little bevels around. Like for example, this edge on these. Where's my bevel? Maybe add a segment, something like that, and get those flush on the surface. And have to see how those rig. They might slide around a bit. There's a couple tricks for that. We'll just deal with it when we get to that point. Shoes look good. Yeah, maybe another holding edge or two. Control Shift X, like here. Um, to me, this one looks better now with that extra holding edge, and maybe round out the front of this a little bit. Unless you like the square look, and maybe, yeah, here I would definitely kind of spread. Well, I don't know. Maybe you like the squared off back, but at least this top part. Oops, I meant to Control Select to deselect these things. Shift right mouse click, slide edge. If you like the squared off bottom here, I would at least, round off this top part. Shift right mouse click, slide edge. And even that out a little bit and get to see to me that looks better. And then you might have to shape this a little bit, so it doesn't. What have I done? Am I in symmetry? No, I just accidentally selected some stuff. Well, just be careful about your selection. Anyway, you get the idea. You might want to round out, if not the sole of the shoe, then at least the back. Yeah, really, really good work. Great job. Nice shape to everything, and I think this is going quite well. Okay, this is Yixin, and yeah, I mean, obviously you need to put these all together. It's a little, sometimes concerns me when I see that sort of dotted line thing. It sometimes means, let's do a soften edge. Is that what the problem is? Oh, I think that's what the problem was. No, I don't know. Maybe, yeah, work on the shape of this to get it a little bit more consistent height all the way around. These are looking pretty good, but you sort of need to put all the pieces together. I might kind of, this is looking very flat. I might kind of make that more oval. You could even try. Be interesting to see how this works out. Just try to see what happens if we circularize that, and then twist to get that straight again, and then scale that, to be a little more right side. I think that's better. Maybe move this over a bit. Maybe, actually, we should do that here before that's been pulled, or even here before that's been pulled back. And yeah, like something like that maybe. And then extrude it and pull it back, add a couple divisions, something like that. I think that looks better. You can still work on the shape a little bit more, but I think that's maybe a better starting point. It feels a little dense in here. I guess that's all right. You might want to adjust some of these. There's some funny bits here. I might use, I like this sculpt geometry tool here. I just put this on smooth, and then I can use this brush and I can kind of just smooth that stuff out a bit, where that's a bit funny. And then you can kind of, after it's been smoothed, maybe rework the shape a bit, just to kind of get rid of some of the tight stuff in there. But yeah, put it all together, make sure it's all the right size and all fitting together. There's something a little funny about the way these are kind of pulled up here, so let's do it on one side, and maybe I'll select just a few of these and just kind of straighten that out a bit, because that was looking a little odd. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, okay, so that's coming along, but just, assemble it all together. Looks like you've followed the tutorials very closely, which is good. So that looks good. Okay, yeah, nice work so far. Okay, this is Warren, and yeah, this is looking really good so far. Not sure how we're planning to do this opening here. You might just want to texture that theme there. That would certainly be easier. But we could figure something else out too. So let's see what you end up with. This is looking a little kind of thin edge here, but maybe it's alright. That's fine. I take that back. Like how you've done this, that looks good. I think you get a little bit more, maybe get some of this more shape, the bagginess to these. You probably have to add a couple more loops and get those shapes going. You might like, if I do Control Shift X and put a couple more loops in, like so. And then I like this surfaces, sculpt geometry tool options. Let me just dock this over here. And I'll probably put on reflection so it does both sides at the same time. Hold out B and maybe use pull, and what you'll see is it kind of can pull out, stuff, and then you can try to like use push and push it in elsewhere, kind of goof around. I don't know if that just looks weird at this point, but it'll give you some idea. You can also, when you use pull or pull, you can use like, instead of the normal direction of the surface, you can kind of pull. Oops, that's going up. That's what we want to push. You kind of pull things down, to get that kind of sense of gravity pulling on the fabric a little bit, when things go out. Maybe we could do the opposite for some of this stuff down here, to get that sense of the fabric doing some of those things. So don't push it too far. I'm kind of maybe going to the limit of where I should be stretching things. That's probably even beyond the limit. But that's a little exaggerated, but I guess be more subtle than that. But I'll give you some idea if you wanted to get a little bit more shape to the pants, of a method of how you might do that. And shoes, yeah, look good. Hands looking good. Yeah, good shape to that. All right, yeah, I think this is looking pretty good so far all around. Let's see how you do with some of the jacket details, and just please let me know if you get stuck with this theme. There's a couple different ways we could go about it. Approach that. So just try to keep it simple. But let's see how you do, and yeah, I think I'd show some color stuff later, so you could try to see if that works for you. But yeah, so far so good. Okay, this is Jesse, and yeah, I think this is coming along pretty well. I think for the hands, I would have liked to see you. Yeah, those aren't going to work very well the way they're doing this. So I would have liked to see you build these the way they did in the lesson. This topology, where you've used the sphere, is not going to. It's not going to work that well for this. So I would. You've got these. You could probably use these fingers, although you're clearly going to need more loops in those fingers. Um, but yeah, I mean, go back over the lesson and take a look at those. Here, oh, you've got ended up pretty dense in the middle there. I wonder why. Oh, and it is asymmetrical. We can see here. So I'm gonna isolate this, and let's make sure we have a symmetrical surface here first. Whoops. Do I have symmetry on right now? Let's turn that off. And let's delete half of this, and should be alright. Okay, I've got a little problem here. And in that, I don't know if that was, let's actually undo that, and I'm going to look at this from the back view, and let's try to do that selection again here. It's going to be a little bit more accurate. Let's see if I got the right faces there. I think I did. Yeah, that looks better. And right mouse click, edge. So I've got that inside edge selected. Except that it's going around all the way. Well, let's select convert selection to vertices, and then, whoops, probably deselect the ones that I don't want. Oops, I meant to hold down Control there. Okay, and just check my work that I have the right selection. I think I'm missing some here. Ooh, I deleted a face there. So, yeah, that was a little hard to see that this one shouldn't have been selected when I deleted half. Okay, because it was overlapping a little bit itself. Select, convert to vertices, and hold down Control and deselect here. Okay, check my work now. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, that looks good. So now let's, in the move tool, make sure it's on absolute. You know, you can minimize and maximize the section with that. Put this to 0. We should see a little bit of movement here. Okay, it does look like they're straight. Let's check that in the front view. Just make sure that looks like it's right down that center line. Okay, that looks good. And let's do mirror and check my mirror options. And this would be from the negative x, which is over here, to the positive x, where that red x is. So mirror direction in the positive direction. Merge border vertices. Use this custom value of 0.001 mirror. Okay. That still looks a little funny, but that could have been cleaned up a bit. But oh yeah, so we didn't. So I don't know why these are so bunched up here, but tis a bit concerning that edge loop doesn't continue on. Don't know why. But anyway, for this we might, let's turn on symmetry and slide edge, shift right mouse click, slide edge, and let's get some. Wait, why didn't the symmetry work? Symmetry, symmetry. There we go. Shift right mouse click, slide edge. Yeah, let's kind of spread these out a bit in the back here, to get more even topology. And what else was I going to do with this guy? Oh yeah, maybe a little more shape to his back. Yeah, I think the big thing was the symmetry. Maybe kind of rounding out these a bit. Yeah, and this looks a little unfinished right now, so kind of keep going on that neck. Maybe you're going to extrude edge and oh, I've got symmetry on still. That could mess me up here. Okay, let's scale that in, and anyways, just keep working on that neck. Finish that off, and I think finish off the hair. And as I said, the hands, that's not the right way to do the hands, so review the lesson on that. Shoes look good. Maybe some more. Ooh, seems like we're doubled up on shoes there, so check that. Is that the same on the other side? Nope. So maybe, some more holding edges on this, Control Shift X, and then maybe one down here and here, and I mean, unless you like that really soft look, I thought it was a little too soft, but like compare these two shoes now and see what you like better. Maybe it does need to be more rounded like that. Maybe I went too far. Maybe we don't need quite so many of these edges. Shift right mouse click, delete edge. But I think I tend to like it with a little more definition, maybe some sort of compromise. And this looks a little too kind of rounded here too, so I feel like this needs some kind of holding edge to it. Oh, why is it? Yeah, like here, here, something like that. Definitely that looks better to me. But okay. But yeah, overall this is going well. But yeah, get that neck and shoulders area finished out. Finished pulling up and doing all that, and fix the hands.